We're gonna do change our generator belt today, so figured I'd do a little video on that, kind of show you. I've never done it before on this one. I've done it before on our old Rigmaster. We picked up an extra belt a couple weeks ago. Recently the generator has started squealing really loud whenever we start it. So I think it's time to get it change it out. So I'm going to show you how we do that. So I downloaded the manual online, and then basically says I got to take these two bolts over here. Then I got two bolts back here, and both this top and bottom housing should come off. The belt is all right here on this side. So let me get this taken apart and we'll take a closer look at it. So it looks like all I had to do is take off the top one. If you can see right here, I have access to the belt all the way right there without taking this bottom part off. This is your fan belt, your water pump, and it also does the alternator. So this is the one that's been screeching really loud. So we're going to go ahead and get this changed out. You can see it's got quite a bit of play in it. Alright, so first thing you got to do is you got to loosen this top bolt that holds the alternator. This is what loosens up the belt. So you see this housing around the fan? It looks like we're going to have to take that off to be able to get the belt off. So there's 3 screws, one right back behind here, one right here, and then one right here in the middle. So let me get those taken off and we'll go from there. So we got the fan belt, or the fan cover off. Now we got to loosen the alternator, because this is what gives the belt tension. And they did not make it easy to get to that one. Alright, so I got the belt loose. You just kind of work its way out of there. Compare this to the new belt. You can see we got a lot of cracking in there. It's a lot thinner than this new belt is. So we got the old belt off. Now we're going to try to jimmy on the new belt. So we got the new belt on there. Now we need to tighten up the alternator. And let me get a closer look at this. So you see this sliding thing here? We need to push that. That slides that way to create tension on the belt. So let me get that slid over and get that tightened down. Alright, so I got it pushed back far enough to create a good tension on this. Now I'm going to just tighten it down. Don't forget to tighten up your bottom bolt too. You don't want that coming loose. Alright, so I'm going to have Heather go inside and get this started up. Make sure everything's looking okay before I put everything back together. Alright, so we got a little bit of wobbling. So I'm going to loosen it up and kind of get it a little bit tighter. I took out a little bit more of the slack right here, tighten it back down, and I'm gonna have Heather start it again, see if we get any wobble in that belt right there. Once you got it adjusted properly, you want to make sure you tighten this lower alternator bolt. So I'm just putting the fan housing back in. You want to make sure that the fan's not going to rub anywhere going around. Make sure you got plenty of clearance in between the fans before you tighten everything down. Alright, we got clearance all the way around. It's not going to rub. And all we got to do is put the housing on. One thing I wanted to show you, when you're getting your PMs done at whether it's Speedco, I don't know if TA do PMs on these, but you want to make sure they change these every other PM service. This is your inline fuel filter. And you want to make sure they put this in the right way. If they put it in backwards, it will hinder the fuel flow and your generator won't run. So if you ever leave Speedco and your generator just stops running and won't run, check this fuel filter. Chances are they might have put it on backwards. It's a really easy filter to change. You just clamp these together and pull it off the ends. I'm going to go ahead and check our oil while I got the thing open. Make sure our oil level's good. One thing I'll say about these generators is we got almost 3,000 hours on this thing now, and it is not burning any oil. These are really good generators. Oil level good. So here's the old belt. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to keep it just in case of an emergency. If this one ever breaks, I can at least throw this one on there until we could get to a parts place and pick up a new one. So we did the same thing with the truck belts. We got the belts on the truck replaced, and we kept the old ones just in case of emergency. If you break down on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, trying to find those belts might be a little difficult. So if you have your old ones, Sure, they might squeak a little bit, but at least they'll get you to a dealership or at least a mechanic that would that'd be able to get you some new belts and then just keep your old belts. I always keep the old belts just in case, unless you have a new set on hand. You know, that's another good tip to always keep spare fuel filters, spare belts. You'll never know when you'll need it. So one thing I forgot to mention while I had it open, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now, is we changed the fan, water pump, alternator belt. Now there's another belt on this side that powers the generator. Basically gives you the electricity. There's an electricity motor in there, or it's called a generator motor. That's what gives you electricity when this thing's running. Now, that belt requires a special tool to be able to change. So that's not something you're going to be able to do on your own. You'll probably have to go to a Carrier or authorized dealer to be able to change that. So I'll post a link in the description on how to change this belt. Carrier has a video of their own how to change this belt, but they didn't do one on the other side, so I don't know why they didn't do the other side. That's the easier one. They should show people, maybe because it's supposed to be so easy. I'll post a link for how to do this belt in the description. So that's how you change one of the belts on the Carrier Comfort Pro. It's pretty easy. You get dirty as hell, but probably saved your owner about $100 or yourself $100 if you own this yourself. I hope this came in handy. I hope you guys are able to do this in the future for yourself. It's super easy. Hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching and subscribing. We'll see you guys in our next video. Peace, love, and expediting.